This is topic 8, part 2, the first review. Number 1 says student council is planning a Christmas formal to be held in the cafeteria. They found a DJ that charges $75 for the first hour and $25 for each additional hour. They can spend no more than $290. So this part is really important. They cannot go over the $290. So originally they're going to pay the DJ $75, and then they're going to add to that $25 per hour. And so our hours is our variable. So we're going to add to that $25 per hour, and we cannot go over the $290 limit. Now we can spend $290, but we can't go over that. So we're going to have to do less than or equal to $290. So we've got this amount, which is the one-time fee. So notice it doesn't have a variable with it. And then we've got this amount per hour, and that's going to go with our variable. So for the first one, for A, it says to write the inequality. We used H as our variable. For B, we're just going to solve this and then explain what that means. So I'm going to rewrite what I have here, and we're going to solve for H. So we're going to subtract 75 from both sides. So we get 25H is less than or equal to 215. And then we're just going to subtract or divide both sides by 25. So we're going to divide by 25, and we get a decimal. So H has to be less than or equal to 8.6. So that is our actual answer. But then it says to explain the meaning of our answer. So what does this mean? Okay, well, remember H is hours. So we're paying the DJ per hour. So the first time we pay him it's $75, and then we pay $25 per hour after that. So we can only pay him for 8, not 9, because 9 cost would be over the $290. So we can only pay him for 8 additional hours. So or a total of 9 hours. So we can only he can only play 8 additional hours or a total of 9, because if we add that back in. So either one of those, if you listed that, would be correct. All right. For this next 4 questions, we're just going to solve these and graph them. You're just solving like you would an equation. The only thing you've got to keep in mind is if you divide by a negative number, you're going to have to flip the inequality. So that's the only difference with these types of problems. And then we'll have to graph them. All right, so here, if you draw your line down the inequality, we're going to get rid of, we're trying to get x by itself, so we're going to add 7 to both sides. Those cancel, so we get 3x is greater than 21, divided by 3, so x is greater than 7. So this is going to be an open circle, and it points to the number, so you shade to the right. So one thing that I tell my students is if it points to the letter, you shade to the left, letter left, number right. That way you don't have to worry about what side the variable is on. All right, for number 3, we're going to distribute. So we're going to multiply that -5 times everything in the parentheses. So that's going to be -5 times x is -5x. -5 times -3 is +15, and that's less than or equal to 30. So now it's a problem just like we had here. We're going to subtract 15 from both sides. Those cancel. So negative 5x is less than or equal to 15. And then we're going to divide by negative 5. And because we're dividing by a negative, we're going to flip the inequality. So now it's going to be greater than or equal to negative 3. So this time, because it's equal to, it's going to be a closed circle. And again, it's pointing to the number, so we shade to the right. All right, number 4 requires a little bit more work. So we've got parentheses, so we're going to have to distribute. And then I've got some extra terms, so we'll have to combine like terms. So problems like this are going to be worth more. So you want to make sure you complete all the steps. All right, so the first thing we want to do is get rid of the parentheses. So we're going to take the 4 and multiply it times what's inside the parentheses. So 4 times x is 4x. 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. And then I'm going to bring down this negative 7. And that's less than, and then do the same thing over here. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Now, a very common mistake that students make is they try to add 7 to both sides. We don't want to do that yet. We've got things that we can combine together. So we want to combine these together first. That way we're not having to move both of them. So we're going to combine those together, and that's going to give us negative 19. And then this side, there's nothing to combine together. So now we want to get our x's on the same side. That's going to you want to do that first. Okay, I know there's several different ways that you can do this, but your teachers are trying to show you the easiest way. And so the easiest way is to get your x's on the same side, because then it will turn out to be problems that are just like these. So we want to subtract 2x from both sides. So those cancel. So this gives me 2x minus 19 is less than negative 6. So again, now it looks just like this problem up here. So we're going to add 19 to both sides. So 2x is less than, this is 13. And we're going to divide by 2. And we get a decimal, which is fine. So x is less than, I'm going to write this over here, x is less than 6.5. That way I've got room to graph. Okay, so it's going to be an open circle, so 6.5 is in between here. It's pointing to the letter, so you shade to the left. All right, and then the last one on this section, so we don't have any parentheses. I can't combine these two together. I can't combine these two together, so we want to get our x on the same side. I always move the smaller x. I'll actually work this both ways for you. That way you can see the difference. So the first way is the way that I would do it, which is to subtract the smaller, get rid of the smaller. So the smaller x is 3. So that I would subtract 3x from both sides. Those cancel. So 4 is less than or equal to x plus 12. And I want to get x by itself, so I'm just going to subtract 12. So that's negative 8. So that's going to be a closed circle at negative 8. And it's pointing to the number, so you shade to the right. So if it was pointing to the letter, you'd shade to the left. Okay, so let me show you the other alternative. So let me rewrite this problem. So we've got 3x plus 4 is less than or equal to 4x plus 12. So we don't have to distribute or combine like terms. So if you move the 4x and you subtracted it, you're going to get negative 1x plus 4 is less than or equal to 12, which some students like to always have the variable on the left side, which is fine. What's going to happen is you end up with a negative. So we're going to have to remember that rule that when you divide by negative, you have to flip the inequality. So we subtract 4. Those cancel. That's negative 1x is less than or equal to 8. And then divide by negative 1. So now that we divided by a negative, we have to flip this and we get negative 8. So these two mean the same thing. Notice it's pointing to the negative 8. It's pointing to the negative 8. So the answers are the same. The graphs are the same. It's just a different way of working that problem out.